Hello, hello. We may have figured this out.
Worry is often an indicator of maybe some deep subconscious.
iPad's working. Let's see if the
Figure this out. Worry is often an indicator.
Hey, we got an audio feed. Look at that. It's a Christmas miracle. Audio feed is up, I think. Welcome if you are showing up. Let me see if this is working here. Maybe. No? No? What? Maybe. Oh, look at that. No? No. The audio feed is working. What? Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Just getting rid of some technical things here. I had some little issues come up, and I couldn't get an audio feed.
Sorry, guys. Just getting rid of some technical things here.
Look at that. I got it working. Oh, man. Look at that. Christmas miracles all around. Hell yeah. Okay. Nobody's here, but hey. Might as well start the old Insta Twitch. What the hell platform I'm on anymore? I don't even know. Insta Twitch to Instagrams. Of course, my phone just went really dark here. I won't be able to read comments very well. Well, welcome everybody showing up. Hello there. Gather around. Welcome to church. We're going to have a little service here. We're going to rally the troops up real quick. Get everybody in. We are going to be talking about God the Creator. Whatever that means, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that. There's this trend of the idea of a creator, or a creation, or something we want to understand, like, why is this the way it is? There must be something creating it or making it. So that's kind of what I want to try to explore today, the idea of God as a creator, or an idea of however you like to view God. And I'm not saying, God of Christianity as, man with a beard, but as a force of something more, maybe even sentient outside of ourselves, bigger mind, big brain kind of thing going on here, So I definitely want to explore that. But right now, welcome. And we are trying to stream to as many places as possible. So whatever platform you are on, please do like the video. I got my TikTok crew right here on the phone, and then I am trying to stream everything else out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Instagram all at the same time. So whatever platform you're on, if there's a glitch, I'm sorry, but hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're gonna get rocking and rolling here, having a good time. Things are happening. Cool. And TikTok crew, welcome. Get on in here. Make sure you guys like the video, please, and give it some tappity taps on the screen. That always gets more people in here. TikTok is a finicky little platform, so the more you like, the better it is. Anyway, welcome to church. This is your church alternative, You could leave the live now and check it off and have fulfilled your sacred duty, Put it on your list. Did I go to church this week? Yep. Yes, I did. Come on down, everybody. Come on down. Man, I really wish it wasn't so bright out here. I tried my best, but it's really bright over there. And my phone did the whole thing where it's like, oh, I can't read how bright it is out here, so now my screen is darker. Oh, shnikes. We're going to make this work, though, kids. We're just going to get ranting here in a second. We're going to get talking about God, the idea of God as a creator. And maybe we'll have to just kind of talk about the idea of God first before we can even explore the idea of a creator, right? Because it's so easy. I mean, it's steeped throughout tradition, steeped throughout religious tradition. We have this idea of a creator, something outside of ourselves, some force that divinely put everything into play, arranged all the little hairs on your head and stuff, held every little atom together with some unknown force. Intriguing enough, we can now kind of pick apart the atom and look at these forces that are holding it together and say, okay, these are electromagnetic forces that kind of flow through everything, in all things, and of all things. I say source. Saying God makes me uncomfortable. Yes, absolutely. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable, especially because we've had such a destructive view of God within Western traditions of Christianity and things like that. This very judgmental, gonna kill you if you masturbate kind of vibe. It's like you're fucked. Oh, but by the way, he's your loving father and he loves you. So when we say God, to people that have especially been through church trauma and things like that, it can be a very ugly feeling. It's like, ooh, yeah, God, that guy's a dick. Ugh. But saying God, and I just want to explore the idea of it, you know what I mean, in this. But just because it is a comfortable, familiar term, the idea of something more. So those that say source are referring to this greater energetic thing. And those within the most dogmatic version of Christianity or versions, they're going to say God. In the beginning, God, and it just was God, and it's this feeling of like God, and that's as far as their brain can get. It like hits this wall of expansion, and it goes like, ouch, ouch, shit. Everything out there is God. It's God. What has a word? God. Will you just believe that? Yeah, faith. Believing in things that are unseen. All right, God. So it's this wide concept for people, and if anybody who's the most dogmatic will still assume that is God is this all-encompassing thing, just like those that would say source would assume that God is this all-encompassing thing of holding everything. I like to think of God, source, the idea of everything greater on this electromagnetic spectrum, of seeing this energetic flow of everything, of this energy that moves through everything, the electron jump from atom to atom that moves all the information and things like that. I mean, why the fuck can I do this with my hand and my arm? Like, right? All these little finger movements and arm movements at the same time, you're probably spinning in a circle. I'm not really even thinking about it. My arm's just doing all this stuff, all this energy. Whoop. Cells, whoop, talking to each other. Electrons jumping from atom to atom, moving through you. All these little peptide chains and neural reception, creating the way it feels to you, your experience. And there's some God for me. I see this like energetic flow of everything. I mean, I see all these atoms that aren't even touching somehow. They're suspended in these electromagnetic fields, and we're creating some sort of mass, perceived mass, through our perception. And like it's kind of wild out there in Godland, which is why it's very easy to go, ooh, that hurts. Ooh, I'll make a dogma and say, oh, it's just God out there. In the beginning, God. And then you don't have to answer any questions. You don't have to answer for yourself. You're just like, good, you're covered. Get out of jail free. God. I don't agree with you. Well, God said it. Well, God, what your version of God? Like, what is that? Well, God. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. People just get this very limited view of God, and God to them is an idol. It just means whatever I think is right. My view on God. And it was just God. So that's just their perspective. So you can just assuredly know that that's their ego. and their view on things, and that is their very separation from the same being that they purportedly worship. So you got to understand, like, where's God coming from, this idea of God? So I'll say God here because this is Sunday, right, bitches? Sunday's church time. We're gonna say God all we want. I just played a guitar, all right? A little flower just almost fell in the sound hole. So God, who dropped this little flower, who grew this little flower, who came from the radiance of the fucking sun, right? Electromagnetic radiation traveling through the black hole of space, not the black hole, but the depths of space, the vacuum of space, where there is no heat. There's nothing to heat up. Well, there's very few molecules of anything out there, but there's nothing really to heat up. So the sunlight traveling through the infinite vast expanse of 98 million miles or whatever it is. Who knows? Who knows? Like, nobody got a tape measure and ran that thing. I'm pretty sure you burn up before you hit the sun anyway. But out there, it's negative 470 something degrees. So these photons, these vibrating radiation, come traveling through space at the speed of light. They hit our atmosphere and they diffuse into this spectrum of all of the different shades in color. Turns into white, like beautiful light on a very clear day, And there's different diffusion, and then all these plants, they hit these little leaves, and there's this process of photosynthesis that takes that and the actual energy, like vibrating radiation. We're talking, this is radiation, right? That part going through space. Now that's just vibrating, neither particle nor wave electrons here going. These are changing form and doing their thing of photons and traveling through space. They're not even hot. At least perceivably, they're not be hot because they're just radiation. And then it has to hit something to agitate that. It has to hit another molecule to heat it up, because heat is measured by that vibration of the atoms, how much they're spun up. So all of the energy that this little flower grew with came from the sun, which was diffused to the atmosphere, which hits the leaves. They went through a process of photosynthesis to translate that information, that energetic information, into this nice little flower which hummingbirds go then feed off of. And I don't even know what the fuck hummingbirds are for. They look cool as shit, What's their purpose? I don't know. Just being beautiful. Just being really fucking cool. Probably do some pollinating back and forth, help the plants grow. And it's all this just stuff happening, this little flower here. And we go, oh, need a flower, I'll get this off my guitar. Fling. But meanwhile, God, the creator, whatever that is flowing through all of it. There's a event of electromagnetic radiation coming, part quantum tunneling from the depths of the sun through hydrogen fission or whatever it is. These hydrogen molecules smashing into each other because it's so compressed that they get smushed into each other. This explosion, atomic event, which then apparently they don't go to the outside. Because they're in the inside squished in this event, they then quantum tunnel. They jump to the outside and they're emitting radiation through space. So it's easy to look at all that, and go, wow, okay, God. But every time we've built a bigger microscope and looked a little bit closer into the depths of it, we go, oh, I get it. Okay, never mind. And then if you look on the other side of the part that you just figured out, however big you built your microscope, and you find this chaos. You're like, oh shit, must be God. Then we have another God version. Okay, it's God. And we've been doing it for the millennia. Come up with a new discovery, and Zeus isn't shitting lightning bolts anymore. Everyone's like, oh, that's a cool idea, but different vibe. And it shifts around. So when we speak of God as the creator, what version of God are we speaking of? How are we picturing God? Is it a picture of a store-bought, nicely packaged in the Bible bookstore God that comes along with a collection of precious moments and a fucking desktop calendar with some inspirational sayings? Is it the same God of Christianity, but then reinterpreted into spirituality and New Age mysticism of once I, clear my traumas and my energy and I come into a higher alignment and a higher space of being, then I can be with God energetically. I can enter Satori, I can enter bliss, to Zen, to oneness, whatever the fuckness. It's like the same thing. Once I pass through these trials and tribulations of this earthly plane, then when I die, I will be with the Father. I will be in Satori. I will be in bliss. And then within spirituality, we do the same thing. Oh, once I arrive, then I'll be. And it always is like looking outward for a Messiah, and we never can come to any space of contentment in our moment with that kind of thinking, because we are only in this moment. We cannot ever move ourselves back into, unless we have some type of quantum tunneling event. It seems like some holy figures like Jesus and stuff had figured those things out, been able to shift into a different dimension in the same space with different. We don't have to get into that, the atomic configuration stuff, but my brain went far afield. Let me go back to the God concepts. So what is that overall concept of God? You know what I mean? We're trying to think of God as the creator. You really got to figure out what your concept of God is. I like to think of it as, just don't put any limits on the idea. If there is a God, great. Worship the God of all of the thing. But if there's a God that limits any of all of it, it says, oh, this is the only part we like. Same with Christianity, same with spirituality, of like, where Christians are like, okay, we're only going to do these good things. But yeah, like, okay, we got a list of 10 commandments and we're going to do good things. And then meanwhile, everybody's like has this turmoil in their heart and they're doing all this shitty stuff and hiding it and wounds and feeling guilty and shame and oh God, oh fuck, oh please forgive me. I don't know if I can ever get past this. Oh, what is God's will? Oh, how could God love me if I feel if I can't fucking up and I can't love him, and they live in all this shame and asking for forgiveness and trying to re-regulate their nervous system, go back to church, go to weekly church, re-regulate nervous system, try to feel some level of relief. And it's the same with spirituality, of like, okay, I'm only going to think of positive, high vibrational things, and I'm only going to manifest the good things in my life, and I'm only going to look to the good things and only the positive things and only the good things. But meanwhile, you're crying in the shower and you're in turmoil, and you keep having to go to the next yoga class, and you keep having to go to the next yoga class just to regulate your nervous system. You keep having to go to the next retreat to do the thing, and it's the same song and dance of any spiritual tradition. It's just different branding on it. It's got a little different packaging, and none of the people that we would perceive of as closest to God, transcendent beings, whether it be a Christ figure or a Buddha figure or, Maharaji or, different Gandhi or something, different holy men of lore, the disciples, Mary, Mother Teresa, these people that had seemed to slip into a higher space where they were like the world didn't touch them and they were concerned about much greater things. In their example, any of these the holy people of lore, in their example that they set, none of them ever were like, oh, this is what God is, here's this limiting small thing. They were just like, love people, take care of one another. The kingdom is here. It's a state of mind, it's a state of being. Be free. And they all fought against the machine too. Jesus did, for sure. Rome killed him for making such a mess. Gandhi, look at that guy. You got the English are there, and they get their salt tax, and salt is a primary thing in Indian food. It's so hot there, they're constantly sweating it out. Got to have a lot in the food, and it comes up right on the beach, all crusty white. You can just pick it up. And Britain or in England or whatever had imposed this salt tax because they controlled it. You had to buy salt from the government, and Gandhi quietly walked down to the beach and just picked up a handful of salt and just took it with him. I'm pretty sure as the story went. And it inspired all of the people that were following him as a teacher to pick up handfuls of salt. And he was arrested, and it started this whole thing, and eventually got their freedom from this whole hullabaloo. And so even these men like that, like Jesus, Gandhi types, are really, they're really kind of pushing against the ideas of the machine and the man and everything too, you know. But we, for whatever reason, these followings that develop, these religions that develop around these original teachings of these guys and these gals out there, these holy, like, transcendent people that seem to be a little bit closer to the idea of God. They never say you got to do this or you got to do that. They're always like, oh, just be, you know, I and the Father are one. No man comes to the Father but through me. Do what I'm doing. Act like this. And so we have this very mixed up view of God, and so of course we can't get the view of God as a creator because there's so many different traditions of what is God, you know. So if you can just think of God as without any limits of dogma, without any of those little tight black lines to say, oh, this is who God is, this is what God is, these are God's attributes. If you can move yourself outside of any of those tight boundaries to fully move into a space of worship of God holistically as a whole, you have to move out of any space of judgment, because all of those boundaries of religions are spaces of judgment. They block out anything else of God. They say, oh, I only want to look at the good, happy, happy, joy stuff, and they fail to acknowledge all of the other stuff of God that creates the happy, happy, joy. They fail to acknowledge the darkness, the evil side, the destructive side, the resetting, the purging nature. We have all of these traditions talking about it, the refining fire, things like that, of this destruction of God that God does, and all these stories of lore and this different traditions of this destruction of God, and different imagery of God as a destroyer and stuff. But we don't like to think about that. We don't want that stuff. We want that cute packaged version from the Bible bookstore. Just give me a little like saran wrap version out of the case. It comes with a Bible, and it comes with like some like a fucking Precious Moments doll. It comes with like a cross necklace. It's like a little gift set. It's easy to follow. Simple rules. You don't got to be accountable for your shit. You just say, "Oh God," you know. And then it's like, well, what, you're going through a hard time? Well, oh yeah, you're not praying enough? Oh yeah, God must not fucking love you. And then you wonder why you're so miserable. So if you can get out of those, and you can see God as this holistically whole thing, and in that process of creation, there is destruction and there is violence. You ever make something, man? You don't get to like a cute thing like this shit, without some destruction. First off, this mahogany right here, this came from Africa somewhere, right? That was a big ass tree that they cut down. That was some destruction. Now, Taylor Guitars does a ton for maintaining the forest. They're like a million trees for every tree they ever cut down, and Bob has bought large swaths of forest just to control it. So don't fear the process. Bob takes care of the forest. So they cut this down, this big ass tree. They got to drag it out with big machines and stuff, destroying things in the forest, killing the animals and stuff. All the bugs, the plants, just destroying. And then it goes and gets cut up in sawmills. And people breathing this dust and fumes and stuff. Process of smelting this brass wound string. The smelting process for brass is, you can't even do this in the States. You can't make brass wire in the United States. It's too toxic. You have to go to Vietnam. You got to go to China where they have brass foundries, or they just don't give a shit. So they got these big, nasty, huge forges melting brass down just so we can get this wire to wrap around a little nickel core. All these things. Ebony. This came from Africa, Cameroon. Plastic right here came from oil in the ground. Digging that shit up. All this metal here, mining operations. All this stuff. It's vicious. Destruction. And then we're like, Jesus, Jesus. Ooh, we love you, Jesus. You know, nobody gives a fucking shit about that side of God, but they'll definitely come in church and be like, let's hump some Jesus, you know? Nobody cares. Nobody wants to think about it. Nobody wants to actually be mindful about what's going on in their life. They just want to focus on the cute shit. And so I think to maybe be able to fully worship God and to fully appreciate God and fully to see God in all of his beauty and all of the grace of God, you really have to acknowledge the dark side. You have to come to grips with that. You have to accept that of God. Even the creation of, a guitar for beauty is destruction. It's been used for a lot of beauty, I played that guitar at a lot of like funeral services and things for people, and a lot of even weddings and stuff for people, and created a lot of beauty with that guitar. But there's a process of destruction to create that guitar. There's a process of destruction to create every molecule of you. In that creative process of God, this creator, you destroy other living things to fuel your body. Just to create more of your you-ness, you destroy life. You murder plants and animals. Fucking murder that Big Mac, You destroyer. Like Shiva of the Big Mac. Shiva the Destroyer. Oh, what an archetype. What an archetype. But you certainly destroy in an equal ratio, maybe more destruction for life that you get. You're a destroyer. But you don't think about that part of God. You don't allow that part. You don't allow that. Ewies. And here we are in this constant interplay of destruction and creation in our own environment. And as we look outwards, outside of our environment, we perceive of the constant flow of destruction and creation and contraction and expansion and the breath in and the breath out of all things. We just miss half of God, and then we get pissed off because we have our own perspective that it should be this way. And that's effectively the ego, the fall of man, the original sin, to say, I know what's best. Here's all this God out here doing it every which way, all the fucking ways imaginable, destroying everything and building everything constantly in a moment. And I know what's best. And the more I know what's best, the more I drive myself into hell. Because that is the ego. That is the fall of man. That is the missing the mark, the separation, the original sin. And so this creator, God, whoever that is, whatever that is, we think of on this linear scale because we have such a small mind. We're in this wash of everythingness that is infinitely expanding. You can get to build the smallest microscope fucking imaginable, and we'll always find another level, or the most powerful one. We will always find another level. We will always find another level. Build the biggest telescope imaginable, and you will always find another level, because the way that the quantum field works is expectation. Whatever you expect it to be, that's what you will find. And in these experiments of quantum engineering, it's effectively what's happening. And it's faith of the experimenter that adjusts the atomic field of that event that's happening, adjust the subatomic particles. They quantum tunnel this way and that, they spin this way and that. They create the environment for the electrons to build around the nucleus and create the atomic field. It's like a little grid. And then all those atoms are attracted or repulsed, and then they stick together based on what you're expecting in the moment as the creator of your own existence. And it has nothing to do with anything outside of you. And the whole timeline that you're imagining that is linear, that starts at point A and ends at point whatever, even though it's within infinity that you can't imagine, That doesn't exist. All of that past stuff that you imagine only exists as a neurochemical process within your body. You're only feeling those old memories, but you can never get to that. All that future that you're imagining may or may not happen doesn't exist. You're creating that in this moment based on your expectation. All of your feeling sets in this moment, you are creating how you feel and how your life is based on your past experience until you can handle those past experiences. You are creating the entirety of your existence in every moment. Like you are the creator of your moment. And the reason that your moment seems a little fucked sideways, if it does, and I know a lot of you feel that way, it's because your perspective is a little off. Because you, as this sole point of perception, get so focused in on your point of perception that you fail to see all of the God and all of the beauty and all of the other points of perception around you. And you push away the beauty. You can't even have it because you can't accept it. And that is your separation from the whole thing. To think that you know best. To think that you, from your soul experience and your tiny little microcosm of existence in this gigantic, infinite, ever expanding and ever, it's whatever the fucking word is, not decreasing, going inward. And we think, oh, my reality is the realest one. I'm the most important, and or my wounds are the most woundy. No one will ever understand me. I'm the most depressed. I'm the most anxious. I'm the most whatever. I'll tell you this, though. Doing client work with people every week and talking to everybody, going into the most intimate spaces with them. Yeah, everybody's the same. They're all feeling the same things. I mean, everybody has a different perspective on it. Everybody has a different context about how they feel God and all this stuff. But everybody's feeling the same God. You're just reading it differently. And that's all based on your perception and your perspective and your worldview and how you were raised and how you were trained. So if you want to truly worship God as the creator, or you want to worship his creation, and I say he just because I've been fucking programmed for years within church to see a guy with a beard, so whatever the fuck. I think the key to be able to worship that perceived idea of God is acceptance, of surrender to that, knowing that, oh, I am this sole perspective amidst this entirety of God. I am a drop within this ocean. I only see what is around me, though I am a part of the whole thing. And the more I soften my gaze and the more I look outward and I expand my sense of self into the whole thing, the less alone I am, the less at pain I am in my own demand that my little drop go this way or that way when the whole thing is moving. You're intricately interwoven into the whole thing. You're a drop in the proverbial ocean. To think otherwise will just bring you pain. All right, stand up, greet your neighbor, welcome to church. Do the shit. It's Bring Your Own Communion Sunday, guys, so hope you brought something cool. I have a hibiscus tea. What else are you supposed to do at a church service? I played some music earlier. If you guys want to give money to somebody, go buy a coffee for somebody in line behind you. I think that would be cool. You know, just be real nice to somebody. See somebody in need, help them. That would be really neat. That'd be a real churchy thing to do. That'd be some Jesus kind of shit, you know. What other announcements do we have? Oh, we have we're doing announcement time right now. You shut up, stop greeting your neighbor. Get back at it. Every day. I was gonna say Monday morning. I was like, no, wait, every day. Every day we've been doing a meditation here, 6:30 Pacific time. On TikTok, I'm trying to get it streaming out to other things, but it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to set everything up. So for sure on TikTok, we will be meditating every morning at 6:30. We've got a really cool crew. They're doing it, and it has some people really changing their lives, like truly, like fundamentally. There's a couple people there that are on a few 30 days sober, and they're in the group now too, and they're just really finding a lot of meaning in there, and it's pretty cool. So join up if you can, 6:30 Pacific time every day. I'll be there leading a meditation. Also, little announcement is we have a Discord server set up for the community. So whatever platform you're streaming from on the lives and things like that, you can communicate in the Discord server. There's a bunch of people in there chatting, a bunch of good friendships that are already being created in there, which is really cool. And some little chat rooms where you can just go in there and be talking to a few people. So if you're lonely or if you're going through it and you want some like-minded people to work through healing your emotions and stuff, there's a link in the bio. I don't really want that to be a Daniel Tyack thing, though we'll obviously be talking about emotional alchemy and stuff. I'd rather that be a community space that I just help protect, but that's for everybody to use. I'm just using the momentum of this stuff to get people there to network. But that's been a really, really cool, meaningful thing that we've been enjoying. So anyway, okay, I'm going to read a couple. God, my phone is so dark right now. It's like it gets all confused when I'm in the bright light. All right. Oh, God, there's so many comments. I can't do this. I love you guys. Okay, you guys said a bunch of cool stuff. Why do I see through everyone? I'm a churchgoer and feel a lot more connected to the message when I replace God with the universe. Yep, it's a great way to do it. As a kid who grew up in a Christian house, I didn't really click for me until I had a few psychedelic experiences. Yep. Psychs made me switch to universe instead of God. Yep, psychedelic experience will definitely open those blinders up. Meditation is quantum tunneling. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Like, yeah, I mean everything is kind of in a way. God who? I'm the highest form of or frequency or me as of right now. Yep, much love, my friend. Yeah, there you go. I'm God, you are God, we are all God, everything is God. Yeah. Everywhere you look, there I am. Everything you see is or feel is God. Yep. Crystalline clear, ironic. Full spectrum experience. Yep. What about a fish fillet? Fillet of fish? Is that what we're talking about? Dude, I just joined. Not sure what we're talking about today, but I'm honored to be here. Glad you're here, CJ. Love your tiki shirt. Thank you. I call God biscuits and gravy because I think my creator would be delicious. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I'm definitely here for that. And you're enjoying some hibiscus tea too? Oh man, I got some that Republic of Tea stuff. Oh, they really put out a bougie box of tea. It's not in a box, it's in a can. That's how you know it's good. But man, that stuff. I don't even work for the company. They've never sent me tea, but hopefully I sold them a lot of tea because it's good tea. So dude, what's up, Paul? Good to see you. What is the Big Bang Theory? I'll tell you my Big Bang Theory. I've never been much for the Big Bang Theory, any side of the spectrum. I was just kind of like, right. I think that our small-minded view from our lone perspective in this mush of everything, of God, of all of it. I think that any view that we come up with for why, how, all of those things, if locked onto dogmatically, become the very dogma that separates us from the whole. Now, do I love wandering out into the outer realms and wondering? Yes, absolutely. Do I take any of that very seriously? No. Do I like to figure out and have answers? Does my ego like to go, ooh, I like to see how that works? Yeah, I love it. Do I know that there's another layer under whatever I've figured out that I don't understand? Yes. And so to take any of those dogmas seriously of theories, oh, this is a Big Bang theory, and we take this as a dogma, like it's a theory, nobody was there. It cannot be proven scientifically. It cannot be a replicable thing, it's just a theory. I look at that as The same as Christianity looking outward to a God. It's the same idea. Big, oh, here's something outside of me creating this. Because we have such a small view of time and how everything works as humanity in this moment, that we have to think of everything on this linear scale, when it is much more of a bubble going back into itself, a toroidal field of energy swirling and moving around like a big apple core of energy, just like every field of energy works. Like from the lowest, smallest one to the highest one, it kind of does all the same thing, and it just goes back into itself. And so we try to find a linear perspective within a thing like that, and all you're going to do is come up with a dogma that separates you from the whole. Now, if you can still that little mind of yours and feel into the experience a little more, you have an increase of 90% or so of processing power, because your mind is 5 to 10% of your experience, the conscious mind, and your other brainwave energies and bodily energies and all the stuff going on is more like 90 to 95% of your experience. So when you get out of the mind, you get out of the dogmas and you go rest into the experience, you rest into the grace of God and the trust and the surrender and the feeling of it rather than the thinking of it. And then because you've deeply moved into the feeling of it, the thinking of it becomes very clear. It's not like some mystical thing, but it is an element of surrender first, I would say, which takes you to that space that you want. Oh, we were talking about Big Bang Theory. Anyway, here's what I look at the Big Bang Theory. The whole, oh, I got my wand. The whole energetic field, that toroidal field of energy, that's like this apple core that comes up and around, and you can see this on radiology and things like that. Everybody has one. I see that field of energy in the total field of energy as all of the possibilities as it expands and contracts and swirls and expands and contracts and swirls. The middle being the point where every bit of all of the energy that can neither be destroyed or created, every bit of it coalesces into this infinitesimal spot of effectively the Big Bang. And then from there, it separates out and then comes back in to all possibilities. So anywhere within this field of energy or this perception of energy you perceive it from, you could be in the center of infinite creation, you could be on the outskirts of dissonance, of being separate, anywhere you look at it, but we are all within that same. So if you imagine maybe in that flow of everything going through, we were all a little dot of energy along all these strings moving. It's like wherever you're perceiving it from is where you're at in the greater sense of the whole, the greater sense of perception. And that's more of a felt experience than a thought of experience. I don't know if that makes any sense. It makes sense in my head. But I look at the Big Bang, your personal Big Bang, as your moment. What am I creating in this moment through all my felt experience, my center, my heart space? What is my moment? Where am I? How am I creating it as I go? That's my Big Bang theory. You are the Big Bang. That's my theory. Would you agree time is a man-made construct? Yeah, absolutely. Past, present, future, now exists now. Yes, completely and totally. It's just something we're trying to use to make sense of things. Most definitely, someone just wanted to make sense of all this. Yeah, what I just said. That's funny, Sonic Glass. I said the exact same thing you said. A creator wouldn't create it if it couldn't experience. Thus, the universe created us to perceive itself. That's a nice way to look at it. That's a good logical path there. Yeah, glad you made it to church. Yeah, so guys, this is officially church. Officially church. So we should do some more music. We did announcements and stuff. We had a little message there. I'll probably start ranting again, but we'll do some music. And here's the thing, guys. I'm going to turn this into actual church. I think this is my third week of like fucking around, of like kicking around and not really getting it going. But I'm going to do like a logo. What are we going to call church? I kind of like Church of the Band. Except for band always sounds like band. Band, as in I got band, not I'm in a band. But Church of the Band is great because it's like, man, everybody who's out there trying to find out what's real has to push the outer limits of society, has to push all the dogmas and the rules. So I'm like, there's a lot of people that like that, There's a lot of people that want to find out what's real. So I'm like, Church of the Band, baby, that sounds great. We banned ourselves from society. We're taking a vote on Church of the Band. Sound bowls are so soothing and comforting. Yes. I have one right here, but it's guitar time, Pete. Oh, come on now. Taking suggestions for church names. I don't know if anybody's commenting on other platforms, but I love you guys. Oh, Jason Mobs is over there. What's up, brother? On YouTube. Nice, dude. Good to see you, Jason. I don't know if you're still here, but it's all good. Church of the Anti-Dogma. I mean, that's the idea, you know what I mean? It's like we're just taking apart dogmas because all of the dogmas are the things that limit us from the whole. All right, where am I? Got that out of my system. Okay. Serious question. What? Yeah. Let's add some topics to the Discord. Want to learn how to play acoustic now? First time seeing you shred. See, you got to come to church to like let the full shreds out. I usually just play with my fingers, not really with a pick. If I'm playing electric, I'm very back and forth. I'll just hold a pick in my fingers, and I'll play real nuanced. And then when it's time to get nasty, then I got a pick right there. But I just fool around on acoustic. Man, I really wish my phone wasn't so dark right now. It's ridiculous. Serious question. But we don't do serious questions. Okay, let's take a serious question. I used to be religious. My dad is still heavily indoctrinated by it. We've had a few arguments, but no bad blood. Would the best thing to be stop trying to convince him he's wrong and let him do his thing? Yes. So the only way I've ever found, well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but the most effective thing I've ever found and there's no absolutes here. The most effective thing I've found to help shift a parent's belief system, whatever that is, whether that be political, religious, whatever, is to adopt the guru energy, to become the thing. Because if you cannot model and embody a better way of being, your words are wind. They mean nothing. So you basically got to outdo your dad. You got to be in a better space. You got to be happier. You got to be more connected. Whatever the things are he's looking for, if you're those things, he's going to be like, the fuck you doing, kid? Like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? Might take a few years. And then you can get into very gentle, meaningful conversations. Like, hey, I was really studying some stuff and I found out some stuff about Jesus and things like that, you know. Like I think his teachings have more meaning than what Christianity's been showing. Like, what? What do you mean? Well, he's just, he's doing all these different things in a lot of yogic traditions and stuff too. You can take him on a little journey down through Rome, and kind of start taking things apart a little for him gently. Get him interested in it, like intrigue him, bring him in there with that guru energy, and that's the only way I've seen parents shift. My own mom, other people's parents and stuff. They just don't give a shit. Like they're not gonna do it. They just ain't gonna do it. Okay. Spaceman says to Sonderglass, that's what I'm thinking. I love him very much. Just wish he could see how I see. Yeah. That's how I feel about my parents, and they don't really go to church. But yeah, what Daniel said, he's the goat. Thanks, guys. You guys are cool. Yeah, it's a tricky one with parents because they also validate themselves, their own ego through you. So if you're not doing what they're doing, then it's like it's a little nervous, Oh, did I fuck up? Am I doing it right? Oh, my little parent ego. Meanwhile, we all kick against the goads of our parents. We all do the opposite thing, It's like, let me see, what is my parent doing? Oh, I don't want to be like my parents. I'm gonna do the opposite thing. Meanwhile, you just do opposite actions and you feel exactly the same. So all the patterns come up in your life and you are the same, even though you try to pretend like you're not. Oh man, we're such wild animals, all of us. All of you guys. All right. This is your moment to, I'm going to go turn some water on for some tea. This is your moment to, what am I saying? Join Discord, right? So take a little second while I'm getting some tea and going to the bathroom to go to the Discord link in my profile. The little live should keep playing. And if you don't have a Discord, it's simple, easy sign up. But it's a really great community where we got a lot of fun little threads going on of some really interesting stuff, some cool stuff. One I really like, and I really want everybody to just go do. And it doesn't have to be beautiful. I want to see like city stuff, but it's a share your city so we can all see around the world, like kind of actual boots on the street. Like what does it actually look like around there? So I took some pretty pictures and videos around Encinitas. I'm gonna go take some alley pictures and stuff around Encinitas. You know what I mean? And everything around here is rather beautiful because palm trees and the beach is right here. But as I go around other places in San Diego where it's a completely different vibe, there's definitely a lot in San Diego. I'll get some pictures there. So I thought it'd just be a fun. No, Nikolai, he goes by Hawk on there, had suggested that they were doing another forum he was on. I was like, that's a great idea. That's so fun, like let's see what it really looks like where you live. Like, let's get a little perspective into other people's lives, take a picture of your house, do some different things to sort of share. But I think the beautiful thing on that community over there is we're doing a couple private threads. Anybody can enter, but they're just for sharing some more like deeper emotional stuff. There's a thread on mental illness that people are sharing stuff in there, and there's a guitar nerds thread in there for the guitar people, and there's a skate thread in there for the skate people. And we can start up other threads for whatever we like in there. Sonic glass, we can do a glass blowing thread and get a bunch of glass blowers. But the idea with it is to create a community where like-minded people can gather and help each other through the healing process of life, help each other through the struggles, and then also just share fun stuff of what's going on in their life, So should be pretty cool. But take a second. I'm going to go get that teapot going and sign up for that thing real quick, and I'll be right back. If you're gonna bounce right now, I love you. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna get back into some good conversation in just a second. Ironically, whenever I leave the live and it's just sitting without me, it gets more people. So watch. There's 12 people right now. Watch. Watch. It won't happen this time, but usually it's like 4 more people, 2 more people. I'm like, what in the world? If I should just not talk, I'll just sit there like for an hour. Maybe I'll just get a screen grab of me sitting there and just put that up.
I'll record myself one time, and then I'll keep rebroadcasting it. You guys won't know the difference. Ow! Ow! Mother's father, sister, brother, legs. Ow! Shit balls. Oh God.
I made a decision, guys. I'm gonna name my teapot Harold. So I can, anytime it starts going, I can say, "Hark, the Harold's teapot sings." Only at Christmas time I'll make that joke, though, not other times of the year. I'm gonna have to get up in a second when that thing gets going, so I'm not gonna get too comfortable. Let's not get too comfortable, because the getting up part's hard sometimes, you know. Before I was having really bad teapot puns happening in my head. I was pondering that dynamic of, this view of God, or God as the creator, and it's like, why do we have so much of that steeped into our society? It's almost like we need that idea. Here's God the creator, something to hold on to, something to look outside of ourselves. And I've noticed with whatever traditions you have the dogmatic view of God the creator, something outside of ourselves, is generally from a place of people with a lot of trauma and emotional dysregulation that need a safe boundary. They need a wall around them of emotional safety, because they just can't quite deal with themselves yet. And so they need to put that up, so they go, okay, whenever it feels too rough, it's like, oh, God's taking care of it. God. Okay, good. And that changes the neuroreception in their body, and they have a little bit of peace. The old peace that passes understanding. Oh, I don't understand why I'm so peaceful when I thought of God as my savior because I was feeling bad right now. I do feel more peaceful, though. I don't understand it. Well, guess what? It's serotonin. So you put your thought processes on something outside of yourself as a redeemer, a savior from your sin, your disconnection, your pain, whatever it is, and your serotonin receptors are going to kick off. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, that little squirt. Welcome to church. So effectively, that's that idea of God. We create our own idea of God, and within that idea that we purportedly say is God, here's this omnipotent creator, omnipotent and omnipresent, omniscient, even a bunch of oms. And that's effectively to say that God is within everything and of all things. He's every little wiggle of energy through all things, this ever expansive and encompassing force. And we have these ideas of God within Christianity, but then you say, okay, well, what are his attributes? Anytime you're getting into attributes, you're fucked, because his attributes are all of them. Her attributes are me. His attributes are you. Or the attributes are, every pile of shit behind me over here. It's like all of that. That's all God. If he's within other things and of all things and all that, hark, the herald the teapot singeth. Got my cups in there already. Okay, dude, chill. Let's get to work. Sorry about that. So, let's just forget all the conceptualized God nonsense. We can maybe safely assume, if we can put our minds to ease about what we need God to be for us to be okay. And we can actually get out of our heads and say, what is this bigger thing? Okay, this bigger thing is something well beyond me. So no matter what you do, infinity is well beyond you. So there's always going to be a point where you cannot understand, and then it moves into a thing like faith, which ultimately is surrender. So no matter what tradition, it goes kind of back to a surrender thing. So it's fun to go conceptualize God, but it always comes back into a space of, okay, how do we be in this moment? How do we do fucking life? How do I pay my taxes? Oh God, And that's a lot of praying, God, taxes. People pray like crazy. They're like little old church ladies, God. Excuse me. So I think the importance of the idea of God is not to go to the outward reaches to find out how God works, because God works every single way. Because God is that. Whatever this idea of God is you hold. Source, everything, energy. And so to hold on to any idea of exactly how God works limits God in the whole. And so to try to figure it out effectively fucks it up. That's like the in Taoism or Taoism. It's the eternal Tao that cannot be spoken. So you can't put words to it. It's a sensation. It's a feeling. It's a being state. And you just have to find that. That's that internal peace thing. All of the practices kind of leads you back towards that. So everybody's sort of seeking that naturally. It's like a natural state of homeostasis. It's like you're kind of trying to energetically, where's that space that is magnetically aligned with everything else? We're always moving towards it. and averting things that hurt us. Oh man, too hot. Not ready. Not ready at all. That was a daring move I just made, but the payoff wasn't. That wasn't it. Let's just give that a second. Anyway, it's like we can get into all these outer reaches and all this, theoretical shit that we have no idea what we're talking about. And then you can say, well, here I am in my human experience. How do I pay my taxes? What's the point? There's one. So you get in your human experience and you go, what's the point? What's the point of all this? Come on, God, what's the point? You get out there again, God this and God, and then you go, oh, fuck, surrender. Damn, okay. And then you're like, okay, well, if I just surrender, it'll be okay, you know? And you have this constant dynamic of the balance of life, of the ego, of figuring out how to do life, you know? And so I think the importance is not to look outward to God, but to figure out how to do life. And so if you can turn life into more worship, effectively, then you enter the chop wood, carry water kind of thinking, where it's like, oh, this action that I'm making this tea here, I'm making this mindfully. There is the energy of these plants, these herbs that are together, and this hibiscus that's in here that will translate into flavor, which will hit my taste buds, which will trigger little dopamine and things like that. Oh, I like this. Oh, that feels good. It's to start to look inward for God to find the beauty of it, the idea of it. Because all of the external perception that you're seeking is doing, to look outwards to God, is the thing that limits you from being with God, from being in God's grace. So it's to constantly turn it back around and bring it into a space of center, because anything in that external view of God is still your own internal perception anyway. You're still perceiving that based on your concepts here. So to find perceived concept of God is to look within, is to find out, why do I feel God is this way and why God cannot be that way. And then when you can accept all of that within you, you can love God fully. And effectively you realize, oh, I am God. I am the one perceiving all of this. I'm the one having all of these feelings. I'm the one that's come up with my concept of any external God. It's completely me in here. And then you start taking it seriously. But the key to taking life seriously, I'm fucking serious here, is do not take it seriously, right? It's not serious at all. You just a little bumbling space fart of energy on a tiny rock in an infinite void, right? Your primary aim in life is to find something to eat and fuck. Like, let's be honest. What are you guys all working for? Oh, I'm so I can get a house and eat and fuck, Hey, watching Netflix. We take it all so damn seriously, So I'd highly recommend don't take anything seriously. But that'll let you take it. You got to get to the God complex where you take it real seriously, so you can oh, I get it. I don't have to take it so seriously. I'm creating all my own drama. Yeah. Is anybody tracking? You guys are all tracking. Somebody's hanging. No, 4 of you. I know of the great live when I see it. Thank you. Hey man, I'm in a bad time lately, and most of it I'm building in my brain. How can I stop overthinking? Yeah, great question. We got a couple dynamics here with that build up in the brain, and yeah, great question. How do I stop overthinking? How do I stop this constant noise that is causing me to be in a bad way? So consider all that overthinking and that anxiety, which you're feeling. I'm in a bad way. Oh, it's always anxious, so I always want to, I always want to drink. I always want to do something to stop these feelings. Ow. Well, those thoughts that you're having, all that overthinking of everything, is the thing that is causing those feelings. You can think of those as the exact same thing. If you're feeling anxious feelings in your body, you're in a bad way, You want to go to some substance to mitigate the pain. That means you're thinking too much. You're thinking all the thoughts. So at that point, you say, oh, hold on. This is where your practice comes in. This is how you stop. This is how you retrain your nervous system. You've got to come up with a trigger point. Find your thing in life, your stop point. Okay, I'm going to stop doing this thing that I know is destructive. And then as soon as you're like, ooh, I really need to do that thing, go like, okay. Let's just I'm going to do a 5-minute. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer, and I'm going to do a little exercise. And at the end of the exercise, if I think it's reasonable to have the thing, I'll have the thing. And at the end of the exercise, I don't think I should have the thing, I'll have the thing. I won't have the thing. Fair? Fair. Have a little talk with yourself. And then sit there and be like, okay, I'm not going to, XYZ, drink, go fuck everything, go ride my motorcycle way too fast just to feel something. And I'm not going to suppress this. I'm just going to feel it. And then sit there with your anxiety. Ooh, yeah, that's painful. Ooh, take some deep breaths. Allow yourself to feel it, knowing that it's just a sensation. Don't let it overwhelm you. It's okay. You're just doing a little exercise. This is like going to the gym. I'm going to lift some weights here real quick. Just let the feelings hit you. And just breathe. And you'll notice if you just breathe and surrender, okay, I'm just anxious. I just feel anxious in my body. You'll notice that the feelings shift in about 90 seconds. You stop feeling them so much. And I'm going to teach you a breath to really help this. And if you, at that point, realize how many thoughts you're thinking, you can create a little space of the breath with the thoughts. I like to say, so just breathing deeply and calmly. Imagine the feelings, all of the feelings of anxiety are separate from the thoughts that are buzzing around. So you sort of breathe into this space right here. And just let the thoughts be separate from the feelings. Let the feelings sort of drain out and pass, and let yourself be like, no, I don't need to worry about this right now. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this go. And so just do a little exercise, a little meditative practice of working your nervous system to get back online into a safe space. And then as soon as you do that, you'll realize, oh, okay, I can think a little clearer. Oh, my brain's not so busy. Oh, I'm not so worked up in my feelings, It can really help you shift your way of being, how you're feeling about life and stuff. The breath that I was talking about for helping to mitigate anxiety is called the physiological sigh. And it's a 3-part breath. It's super easy to do. You can do it. The more dramatically you do it, the more effective it'll be. If you're in a crowded room or something like that, you can kind of do it silently, and it'll still be effective. But the first breath is deeply down into your belly, so you expand, and then once you have a bunch of air in, you kind of suck in on top to pack a little bit more in, and then you let a big sigh out. Even bigger than that if you want. But the sigh, you want to actually kind of reverberate your vocal cord area. It triggers a bunch of stuff in your limbic system and your thymus. It actually helps to have that vibration there. Which is, that natural feeling of a sigh, letting it out. It's like that's an intentional thing. It changes the energy of your body. It changes the way your hormone system trigger and things like that. So the breath is a big breath in, a little breath in, and a big sigh out. Do that 5-10 times, and it'll really change the way you're feeling. It'll change your feeling state. It'll change your thinking state, and you'll be in a much more balanced way of being in your nervous system. So, but that'll help you to always reground into center, to take a moment to breathe and create a little space for those feelings to pass through, and just spin those thoughts down, and then you'll be a little bit more grounded in where you are in your existence. Man, I wish the screen wasn't so dark. Hi, people who are hanging out. Welcome. We did a little church service earlier. Thank you. Try that. Yeah. Definitely that physiological side that can really, really mitigate some anxiety feelings quickly. You know what I mean? All right. TikTok, thank you guys for hanging out. If you're hanging, please do like the video, which I see a bunch of likes happening. I appreciate you guys working that screen, putting your thumbs to good work. This is what we call the Lord's work. This is Sunday. It's not a swiping motion. It's a day of rest. It's more of a tapping. Maybe switch to your index fingers, and just tap the screen that way. Put it on your bed. Actually, now that I think about it, you guys have been sitting for way too long. Stretch it out, everybody. Stretch it out. Let's take a little stretch break. Move your neck around. You're going to be like the hunchback, okay? Stop. Just sit up straight. Also, in breathing, especially when you're mindfully breathing, which is a kind of thing I've been teaching in meditation in the morning, breathe, like expand fully. Let your ribs, like the cartilage stretch between. You want that fascia to stretch. Like it's also part of your energetic profile. Think of yourself as when you're really beaten down and depressed, you're just like, oh, and it kind of forces your body into this like closed in posture. So actually physically triggering these things sort of backwards in your body by adjusting your posture. So you kind of breathe in deeply and stretch up. Let your heart space be open. It can feel really scary if you've never done it before. Honestly, just like open your heart space up. Like it feels very vulnerable. You just want to be like, oh no, 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 I don't want that. But you like get in a safe space and just try it. Just push your own boundaries a little bit. Just you can even do like a cat cow. Blow out, breathe in. Just that alone, if you feel a lot of emotional turbulence and dysregulation, and you can't get into maybe a meditative practice, doing some exercises like that alone, just mindfully breathing and moving your body will open up some. It can open up old memories. It can open up old feelings, old traumas and things. So it's good to kind of sit safely and do little things like that to allow this stuff to open in your body and process through. Which is also why we have practices of yoga and things like that. Exactly the purpose of yoga, to sit there and stretch these areas of the body where we have these, neurological things sort of trapped. We have these cycles of adrenaline and cortisol trapped in our fascia, in our nervous system, effectively, or maybe not our nervous system, but it's trapped in the fascia. It's in the space between the cells, the God zone. Where how everything feels. And our amygdala's getting these overstimulated ruts where it's producing too much cortisol and too much adrenaline, and then we kind of need that. So then we have more patterns in our life to cause more chaos, and it can turn into a real shit show. So being able to sit and with your thoughts and stop, just to breathe, to be okay, um, practice regulating your nervous system will really truly change your life. And I should, plug it here if you haven't heard already. We're doing a meditation at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time every morning. If I'm not here, it's probably because I'm dead. I'll show up in rain or shine, sickness and health. I rarely get sick, so we'll probably be okay. Anyway, I'll just be here every morning so we have a space to meditate. And also, if you're hanging out, feel free to join the Discord. There is a community forming over there. It's called the Band Channel. And for those of us that have been banned from life for talking about the things and we want to talk about, and for communicating and being out in a different space of trying to find out what's truth, a space where people can kind of have a safe space to talk about healing stuff and working through things together. So if you get on the Discord link, there's one in my bio. You can jump on there, and there's already a really cool little community forming. What I really like are the voice channels on there, where there'll be, four or six people sitting in a little chat room, like having dinner, like talking about stuff. It's life, what's going on in your town, but it's a cool little place. I'd love it if you guys joined up and joined the community. I want it to be a very community-led thing. I've already put a couple people in place for admins. I just call them my love witches. They're just there to love people and make sure that everybody feels heard, feels good. So that's the plan over there. So definitely join up. All right, TikTok. I think we got our church. I think our church service. Yeah, we got our church service done. We did our official church service. I'm going to make it a point to stream an official church service every Sunday morning. I think I need to do it earlier, like at 9 Pacific Standard Time. But I really got to get myself geared up, I got to get ready for doing church stuff. I should start it there. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I will be probably on live tonight, hanging out, just having a good old fun dumb night. I'm gonna take the rest of the day to ride the bike around, probably like eat a burrito and take a nap. Maybe go skate. I don't know. I don't even know who I am right now. The day is young, It's not even noon yet. I'm gonna go ride the bike. That sounds like a good plan. You, sir, are a gem. Thank you very much. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm going to shut this live down over here. I think someone is watching on Twitch. I appreciate you. Been doing a little new format and still